Hi everyone, welcome to this live product demo, the first one of our live product demo week. We have 3 more to follow, but today is a big one. We will be talking with Joran and Elise about the personalization suite and of course what that can mean to you, your content creation, and your business as a whole. The agenda today is pretty simple. We have 3 parts. First, we're going to talk with Elise about what is personalization and when can you use it? How can you leverage personalization to kind of like achieve better results with the content that you're sending out already? And then we are absolutely going to have an extensive look at the personalization suite in the product. And that's why Joran is joining us today, the product owner that has worked on the personalization suite and knows all about it. And there is plenty of time at the end of this live product demo for Q&A. So feel free to ask your questions either in the chat or on the top right of your screen where there is the field, I have a question. Let us know, even if you have like a situation that you want to share with us or describe, this is the moment that you can get a bit more input from us. So we're available to you for the next 30 minutes. And yeah, please be involved, ask us your questions. And then I'm really curious to start off with Elise. Elise and Joran, both welcome. Joran, I'm just going to exclude you from this view momentarily. You'll be back in a moment. Elise, I'd love to hear from you. You do talk with a lot of customers every day and over the weeks. I'd love to hear from you. What do you notice is most top of mind in your customer base at the moment?
Yeah, thank you so much, Lobka. I'm thrilled to be here to talk about it. Hi, everybody. A senior customer success manager here at Foleon. So every day I'm talking with customers and definitely seeing some trends coming up over the last year and this year especially. And that's really focused on personalization. And the questions the customers are often asking me are questions like, how do I cut through this sea of content? There's a lot of noise, a lot of messages and stories that are out there. How am I going to differentiate myself or our message or our product and really stand out from the competition? And so those are the questions that we, of course, talk about as customer success managers on a daily basis and really look to help solve and answer for our customers.
That's great. And what tends to be the #1 reason that you do recommend your customers to use personalization?
Yeah, it's hard to pin it down to one reason. We have quite a few. I would say there's about like 3 to 4 trending reasons that we see customers coming to us and looking for personalization as a solution. And so those challenges often are, my team, my ABM team are wanting to create content for these campaigns, but we have significant bottlenecks. Time is critical. How do we get that content out the door? They see that they're duplicating and kind of essentially repurposing the same document over and over again and wasting time in the process. So that tends to be one challenge. How do we become more efficient and get these ABM campaigns out the door quicker? The other one, of course, is struggling to put themselves ahead of competition. If you are putting a proposal forward and you're trying to stand out, how do we personalize that document? How do we make it stand out and kind of boost that win rate for our team? So that's another challenge that we see, personalization being a great solution for. And then others, of course, are how do we attract the right customer and tell them the right story? Instead of sending them to our website or some generic resource that has everything, maybe information overload, how do we focus that story down so that that audience or that prospect is getting in the information that they need right away off the bat and kind of move forward with their decision making? And then I would say the last piece is that sales teams are, they're resourceful, but that can sometimes lead to going off brand or delivering content that's not compliant or legally approved to a prospect or to an audience. So it also helps our customers standardize their content, brand control their content, and make sure that those sales teams are working in the right area, being creative or personalizing content where they should and not where they shouldn't. And so that last little bit of compliance, of course, is a key piece.
That's great. Yeah, so personalization can definitely be used in multiple ways and solve multiple problems. Also then return different benefits to different customers. Can you share the story of an example of one of your customers who have been benefited by the use of personalization?
Yeah, absolutely. One of our key customers who are actually involved in the process of our personalization feature development is a very prominent US-based insurance firm. They're nationwide, and they had the challenge of, very similar to that last piece that I mentioned, how do we empower, large groups of individuals to distribute content in a compliant, on-brand, and effective way that can also be personalized? So what they're doing is they actually have 9 brochures that have been approved by their organization for district managers across the nation to leverage. And those district managers are using those brochures in a recruiting effort to recruit brokers to various programs at their insurance firm. Now, the nice thing with this is they have 300 of those district managers, all utilizing the same resources, all able to personalize those resources to the brokers that they're speaking to. The content, of course, is responsive, it's effective, and it's a very highly competitive conversation that they're entering. So these personalized documents are helping them stand out and get that conversation started. They're using it for pre and post call conversations, follow-ups, again, being more effective with their messaging and standing out from the competition. And then the company's happy because anytime they make changes, which is often monthly, quarterly information about commission structures or program information changes, they need to be able to make sure that those 300 district managers all have the correct version of those resources, that their brokers are getting the right information, and that there's no misinformation being disseminated.
That's great. That sounds like a very interesting use case. Maybe just for the audience. So Elise is a senior customer success manager, and what customer success managers do is basically help their customers be successful. And usually they have a lot of conversations around their strategies, their use of Foleon, their implementation, their processes, to really see how they can optimize their content strategies and their content creation, and have better results. Is that a good enough summary, Elise?
Yeah, it's a fantastic summary. It's truly what makes my job exciting, having those conversations and supporting customers. And so we encourage anyone, who's watching this demo or having conversations with their CSMs to explore personalization, because of course it is truly a very powerful new feature that we're all very excited about.
Definitely. Yeah, and there are many different uses for it. There are also multiple features. It's a personalization suite. Could you talk to us about what are the different features and what are they used for?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that. So last year is essentially when we launched personalization, and it really took off. That feedback, that adoption is really what inspired us to continue investing in this feature as a company. So where we started was with text-based properties. So think company name, your contact name, any text property within a document. And you could select where in that document that item would be personalized, or that text property would be personalized. We then also advanced it to page conditions. So that's where you can think of creating a generic brochure. If I take higher education, for example, maybe you have a student prospectus brochure that has different programs that those students can enroll in. But of course, if you send that all to a student, that's information overload. So with page conditions, you are essentially able to funnel it down and make sure only the specific page with the correct information was showing in that document. So that was another way of personalizing information. We've now, taking a look at this year and our newest features released as part of our spring launch, we also have what I like to call personalization as you go, or lead generation personalization. This is fantastic for documents that you're sending to audiences that maybe you don't know exactly their name, the industry that they're from, or the information that they're most interested in, and you want to allow your reader to choose their own journey. So the lead generation personalization function will essentially present your audience or your reader with a form that allows them to enter their details, their email, and select from a dropdown that you're presetting, such as what industry are you from, or what product are you most interested in learning about. And the document will personalize in real time. So that's really powerful for the reader experience, but also for the company, because you can gather that lead generation information.
Interrupting you there just for a second, just to let everyone online know, if you have any question, it could even be hey, this is confusing, or I don't get that, let us know in the chat. Marina is attending to you, and we can then answer those questions live. So just wanted to throw that in there. You can continue now, Elise. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries. Absolutely. Please, more questions, the better. So feel free to use that chat. So to summarize, the key use cases that we're seeing, are ABM campaigns, proposals, buyer decks, white papers, rallying cries, any kind of content you're also wanting to co-brand. So as you can see here on your screen, beside that personalization as you go or lead generation capability, adding images and links also to these documents is now capable. That's perfect for if you're creating proposals, for example. Your sales team want to add in the logo of a company that you're sending that proposal to, or maybe they want to add in their own headshot to add their own personal touch to that document. And then the URL is really powerful because, of course, you can have a meeting link directly in that proposal. So whoever's reading it can click on that meeting link, book time with your sales team, not having to have a separate email sent back and forth, trying to schedule information. It can all be a clear call to action in that document. So again, lots of great opportunities for how personalization can be leveraged.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for talking us through that.
Pleasure.
And then you did already mention a lot of examples in that, in kind of like talking us through the personalization suite. Are there any other that you want to mention before we go into the demo?
I think those are pretty much like the key ones that we're seeing. Like we mentioned, ABM campaigns, microsites. I've got a new customer that's using it for rallying cries, pre and post event communication. That's also really important. So if, for example, you are at trade shows or you're capturing information at those events on new prospects or potential sales that you want to close, another great way to follow up, having like a summary document after an event that you can send out. And of course, industry-specific white paper is always fantastic to be able to personalize with the correct case studies, etc.
That's amazing. Elise, thank you so much for talking us through this and giving so many examples, real-life examples of your customers. I've also brought Joran back into the conversation. Joran, great to have you online. Let's switch to the live demo. And Joran, I'm curious to hear from you. What's the number one problem that you've tried to solve for when developing personalization?
Yeah, to be very honest, I think that Elise covered most bases there. But what I, as a product owner, am most excited about is everything that we can do to make our platform the most engaging possible, the most engaging we can make it. That's something that I love working on personally. And in this case, the difference between getting content sent to you that says, hi there, or that feels impersonal versus someone or a company that targets you specifically, knows you kind of your name, knows what you're interested in. To me, as a reader, it makes a really big difference. So that's why I really enjoyed working on this, and really great to see that there's been such good reception with our customers as well. So
that's great.
Well, that's why I'm excited about demoing it.
Yeah, curious if you can take us through.
Yeah, of course. Let me share my screen.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, another reminder to please ask your question, share your situation. We'd love to discuss that afterwards. Joran, you can take it away.
Yeah, if I've shared my screen correctly, you can now see a Foleon Doc. I hope that you're all familiar with that. So in this Foleon Doc, we're a corporate services company. We work in communication, and we want to target both the legal and the finance industry. So this is like a Foleon Doc we've been working on. Then there's also a fourth page, the contact us page, in which we want like an account executive, a salesperson to be able to be contacted by the audience. So we want to personalize this Foleon Doc. So this is just like a little bit of context. Going to the legal page right here, and this is the most basic form of personalization. Right here now it says hi there, but we want to replace this with the reader's name. We want to do this both for the legal and the finance pages. So I'm going to go to the Foleon dashboard, which I already have open here. I go to the personalization tab, and here you see that there's already quite a few properties that I've already created, which I will get to later on. But let's together create a new property. So I'm going to create a new property, and I'm going to call it reader name. It's a contact property because it's about a contact, right? A member of your audience. It's text because I wanted to personalize the text, and we fill in a default value because if the information for whatever reason would be missing, instead of saying hi and then being something empty, it would say hi there. At least that's better than nothing, right? So I'm gonna create this property, and you'll see that it normally will show up here in my overview. Then going back to the Foleon Doc, we've created the property, and now it's time to insert the property here in the text. So I replace there, and here in the text bar, I can click on personalize. There I fill in reader name, I insert it, and there we go. The reader name has now been filled in for the legal page, but I'm going to do the same on the finance page just to show it again, that it's pretty quick and easy. There we go. So we've now replaced hi there with a property, but what we also want to personalize for this Foleon Doc is we want to personalize depending on the audience and depending who visits the Foleon Doc. We want to show either the legal page, which you see here, or the finance page. And to do that, we need something that we call a page condition. So we want to make the visibility of a page conditional. To do that, I've already created a property in the dashboard, which I here call industry. And once I open it, you can see here that there's two options, legal and finance, which I've already created. Now, when I go back to the Foleon Doc, I'm going to go back to the legal page here. I click on the eye icon and I click on conditional. So just to see, this is the legal page. So I'm going to say, well, if the industry is legal, only then I want to show this page. And you see here from this little icon that that's what I've added. I'm going to do the same for the finance. So if the industry is finance, I want to show this like that. All right, so now we've already personalized hi, here the reader name, we've added page conditions. And then on the contact us page, we still want to personalize something because based on who the reader is, we have different salespeople who we want to include here. I've already included the text property here with the AE name at the top, but I also want to personalize this image and the meeting link because we want to send out, we want to show a different image depending on which account executive or which sales proposal, which salesperson is selling. And we also want to have a personalized meeting link. Well, how do I do that? I go to settings, general settings, and click here, personalize. I've already created this property in the dashboard. I select it, and now I know that this can be personalized, and I'll show you how to do that later. I'm going to do the same for the meeting link. I'm going to go general settings, edit link. I'm going to do personalized URL and AE link to URL. So there we have it. We've now done text personalization, image, URL, and page conditions. And now to make sure that we have that in the personalization mode, first I'm going to republish. So I'm clicking republish here. And usually this only takes a few seconds. A few seconds indeed, thank you. So I close this now. And then it's time to actually go to the personalization mode. I click on the menu, and here we click personalization, generate URL. And in the new tab, I can actually start personalizing, right? So we have a few options here. So as you can see, I can select an industry, for example, legal. And as you see, the legal page now appears. Then the AE name, the salesperson who's selling, let's call her Mia. So you can see that that's here. We're adding an image. In this case, this is I guess this is a man called Mia. Why not? It's 2025, right? And then the AE link, let's say that the meeting link will be Mia book meeting, something like that. Then going back to the reader name, Where the reader name would be, for example, Sarah. Let's capitalize that. And once we click generate URL, you'll get a personalized meeting URL that you can then save. So now we've successfully personalized a complete doc with text, with page conditions, with images, URLs, and you can save that link. But now you only personalize it for one person. But what if you send out 100 sales proposals at the same time? Well, then you can do generate batch CSV. You can download a CSV template. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute. Then upload with all the information, and then you get a very long list of personalized doc URLs. Just to save some time, I've already done that before this meeting. So this is what the empty template would look like. And here you can see all of the properties that we created. Once you put your information into it, you might say, okay, I want to send it out to 14 or 13 finance people. I want to send it out to all these legal prospects that I'm working with. We have an AE image, AE link. And once you drag this CSV or upload this CSV to Foleon, you will then receive a version that gets a personalized Foleon URL. So now you've created personalization at scale, right? Because here we see 54 personalized doc URLs that you can then use in your CRM. You create a separate property for it, and you could send this out to thousands of contacts. So thousands of contacts will get a personalized sales proposal in this case. I hope that was very clear. So this was all personalization when you know who you're actually selling to, so to say, or when you have the data from the audience. But, and this is something that Elise already mentioned before, what if you don't have that information, but you still want to personalize? Well, then you need to do something that's called personalization with lead gen form. How do I do that? I go to the menu, I go to the doc settings, and go to lead generation. I'm going to gate my Foleon doc and use a native Foleon form. I'm going to choose option 2 here and save. Some of you might already be familiar with lead gen form, but basically it is like a gated way to gather information from your audience. And in this case, we're going to couple that together with personalization. So when I go to the pages overview, I see here that connected to the first page, there is a lead generation gate. Once I open it, I can actually start personalizing it. So that's what I'm going to do. First, to be sure, I'm going to delete a few of these extra properties we don't need. Here in the lead generation form, you can see personalization, personalize, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add in the industry, insert, and I'm also going to add in the reader name. Let me insert that. So reader name makes most sense. You can always change this text label if you want. For time purposes, we won't do that. And now basically, if you send this out to your reader, you don't know their information, and they fill in their name here and select their industry, they should only, normally, they should only get the information that they filled in here. So let me test that. So I put in this lead generation gate. I'm going to republish, which is important. So now as I'm going to republish, after this, I'm going to open up the Foleon doc. I'm going to open up the live doc URL. Once I open it, I will get presented the lead generation gate. I fill in the details, and then normally it should say my name, right, Joran, and I'm going to be presented with my industry. So let's open it here. Immediately, I get the lead gen gate. I'm going to say, my name is Joran. My industry is legal. My email address is joran.doema@foleon.com. I submit. Okay, I get access to the doc. Immediately here, you see I only have access to the legal page. I start reading, and here it says my name, Joran. So I've now successfully personalized this based on what the reader fills in without having the data. So it's combining the best of both worlds, because you have a personal experience, but you didn't need to do all the legwork. I think that's pretty much it. I hope that was a very clear demo, and I'm very curious if you have any questions about this.
That was a super clear demo, at least on my end. So thank you, Joran. Very in-depth with the different examples and combining the two angles. One, when you know who you're sending it to, whether it's a couple of people or a large CSV file, or when you don't know who you're sending it to. A question that kind of came up from my end. So I haven't actively used the personalization feature personally. It has been used by Foleon in marketing materials, but not by me. And I was wondering, can you combine, make one Foleon Doc for people you do know and for people you don't know? So combining the lead gen form and the not the lead gen form.
Yeah, that's definitely something that is possible. So because also you can also allow the audience to skip the lead generation gate. So if you already have the data, you send out a personalized version, but you also want to generate leads, it's definitely something that is possible. But you do really need to think about, okay, what is your content strategy? Are you trying to personalize the experience here? Do you have the information? Or do you want to generate leads? And I think it's very important to think about your strategy beforehand.
That's a very good one. And a question by Mary Jack comes in asking, I'd be curious to see more regarding the image replacement, specifically logos.
Yeah, this is definitely something that is possible. Now I kind of went quite fast because there was a lot of different exciting things we wanted to show. But basically now we for example, personalize the image of an account executive or a salesperson, but you can definitely do with a logo as well, right? You can, let's say that you're selling to Coca-Cola, you can show the Coca-Cola image. You can upload it to the media library, you can use that link, and then you can even personalize that at scale. Maybe we can also share a Help Center article about image personalization in particular, so you can take your time to go through all the steps by yourself. But we'd also be happy to help out there.
Nice. Thank you, Joran. Yeah, and indeed, with not many questions coming in, I didn't interrupt to have more questions be discussed. Just to kind of like move forward and make sure we highlight everything we want to highlight, pointing out the smooth page transitions here, by the way. If you're excited about personalization and you want to have a call with your customer success manager, I have opened a poll question as well. So just click yes, no, or maybe, and we'll make sure to follow up accordingly with you. And that is definitely just to be able to discuss your personal situation. And then as we are having live product demo week as part of our larger product launch, so of course last week we had the launch event and we've been promoting our launch magazine, which looks very good. We have more live product demos this week. Tomorrow there is one again with Joran about global content modules, linking content, updating linked content centrally in multiple Foleon docs. And on Thursday, we have another one which talks about 3-level governance with the brand console, which is new, the admin console, and the workspaces. Plenty to learn. Marina has shared the links in the chat, and we'll just send them to you as a follow-up as well. Elisa, I'm pulling you back in here to say thank you to you both for being such great presenters during this live product demo. Any final idea or thought about personalization you want to leave our customers with?
No, I think we've covered most everything. I think it's important to know that the demo that Joran showed today was from a creator's perspective. So how to set those properties, how to add them to your documents, and then have that document ready for personalization. But know that please speak to your customer success managers. We do actually have a specific role called a personalizer role for folks that shouldn't be in the creation seat, that should be in the output seat. So simply filling in those forms and generating those lists of unique URLs. So know that if you're hearing this and you're thinking, oh, I don't think my sales team will be able to complete that whole process, they shouldn't be. And we have a specific role designed for them. So that's also something that you can speak to your CSMs about.
Very good point. Great add-on, Elise. Thank you both so much. Thank you as the audience member, and thanks Marita for being active in the chat. We look forward to seeing you back in the following live product demos. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.